Okay, hello, and welcome back. Just one more time, I want to remind everyone that there's an election this year, and to register to vote, there's lots of places to vote. You can go to the Secretary of State's website. You can go to there's places on Facebook. There's lots of websites. Just register to vote. It's not that hard. It takes less than 5 minutes, and it's more important than ever to use your voice.
Yes, that is very, very true. And then also coming up, as you guys know, I do work at an awesome shop called Bondesk, which is in nearby the corner of Lake and Lindale. We have this big party coming up that we have every April called Rubber Ball. I highly recommend if you're interested in kink and alternative culture and just want to see how a full-blown fetish ball is, I highly recommend going to it. We're kicking off the weekend with a fun dinner called the Evil Queens pre-party. And then Rubber Ball is going to be the Saturday of the 18th. So if you want an excuse to dress sexy and have some fun at the St. Paul Concord Exchange, I highly recommend it. Please check it out at rubberballusa.com.
Yo, it's your boy Mizu again, sitting with Aria.
Hello, everybody. It is I, Aria. I hope you've been having a good week.
It's been interesting, to say the least.
It's been interesting?
Yeah. I don't know. I felt really sick last night. And it's one of those sicknesses where it's like, I had to sit on the toilet because I didn't know if I was going to throw up or shit my pants. And nothing happened.
Okay. Well, cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm glad nothing happened then. Good to know.
It was just very uncomfortable and unpleasant last night. But there's
I have a feeling I
not
know
a whole
why.
lot going on right now.
I know there's a lot going on. There's so much shit going on. Can we just, like, at least address the political elephant in the room right now?
What, are you talking about Trump, or are we talking about members of his cabinet being sequestered and quarantined?
The thing with the members of the cabinet being sequestered and quarantined, oh my god, I'm okay, like, first off, like, I don't want death on these people. I just like it when, like, shit bites people in the back when they're not doing their jobs right.
No, it's pure and simple Schadenfreude.
Yeah, it's Schadenfreude. It's like, it's better you than not me. And especially in this case where you have, like, a lot of guys that just pretty much don't really give a shit except for the wealthy.
Well, it's just so dumb how they're blatantly ignoring CDC guidelines. And they're ignoring the CDC. It's almost like they want a pandemic to break out and reach our shores.
Well, it already has reached our shores. There's a case in Minnesota now.
Well, I think there were something like 200 reported cases.
Most of the cases...
Over 200 cases in the U.S. now.
Most of them are in New York.
And Washington.
Well, the thing was, like, how they got into contact, if you're not aware of it, is there's this big conservative conference called CPAC. And it's, like, all of, like, the who's who and, like, the Republican conservative arena go to this convention, essentially. And basically it's, like, kind of like a big rally to, like, rally people to causes and, like, reinforce the party identity, essentially. And, basically it's like E3, except a lot more boring.
No, it's E3 for douchebag Republicans.
Yeah, essentially.
And, I mean, not all Republicans are bad, because I know some Republicans I'd gladly smoke a blunt with. But there are very few, and they are very far between.
That is true. That is very true. There are very, very few conservatives that I actually would call my friend. Mainly because of the fact, like, a lot of them, like, some of my conservative friends are still in denial that Trump is racist. And it's like, God. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, so I've had to mute a lot of my more conservative friends, especially my white conservative friends, because of that. Because it's like, I don't want to see them having that rhetoric.
Yeah, no, I lost a lot of my white conservative friends during the Obama administration.
Yeah.
So this Trump one, I'm doing fine.
Well, like, because, like, some of them I've muted because, like, even though they don't agree with Trump and they'll say that he's racist, they'll also be like, but the people were illegally crossing the border. And I just come on and be like, no, that's not, that they weren't illegally crossing the border, they were seeking asylum.
They were seeking asylum.
Like, that's not against the law.
Through proper channels.
Yeah.
But the thing is about those proper channels is that their lives are at risk.
And not only that, it takes a long time, too, at times. So it's just like...
It's like, can you imagine how... we understand how shitty bureaucratic red tape is with American government. Imagine how shitty it is with Mexican government.
I know, or not only that, like, just, like, trying to immigrate to, like, a safer area. Like, that's like, that must be, like, a terrifying, long process that, like...
And then just to finally almost make it to the end of the destination, to have your kids snatched away from you.
Exactly, so it's like, with some of them, I'm just kind of like, okay, like, right now, we're gonna, like, maybe someday we'll sit down and we'll talk about, like, what we all really thought without having this whole tribalism going on. But it kind of just, like, pisses me off that a lot of Republicans are just putting party before country. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that, you know, they could possibly reverse the gay marriage legalization that happened back in 2012. That's a very big thing, especially now since South Dakota has been putting in bills of ridiculous proportions, making conversion therapy permanently legal.
Oh my god, that's so dumb.
In that state, so it's like that's just when a lot of people like see stuff like that. Well, why they do it so extreme? Well, that's because they want it up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is in the conservatives' favor now, and that's the same with a lot of these anti-abortion bills. You make them the more extreme as you can get them, and then it can go up to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court can overturn it. Or say that Roe v. Wade is illegal, but we won't have this to it, you know, and they'll try to find a way to compromise the issue. And that's just how they do it. Luckily, though, liberals are just as smart, and I highly recommend if you ever look at cases like that, or want to look at cases like that, look at the Satanic Temples cases for freedom of religion. They're just amazing. I highly respect them as an organization.
I don't.
You don't?
I mean, I get the sectarians really like how they exercise religious freedom.
I mean, they don't really believe in Satan, you know.
But the thing is, as far as an organized religion, if you want to call them that, it's like, how can you put faith in someone else to help you out when their whole religion is built around yourself and worshiping yourself?
Well,
and it's all about the self. I love a lot of their ideals. A lot of their ideals are really fun, and they're just about exercising religious freedom and showcasing how absurd some of this shit is. But at the same time, it's like, there's no valid religion to them.
Well, I mean,
because of their belief system.
They're one of the very few religions where I've met a lot of Satanists. They're like, well, yeah, even though it says it's on the self, we do a lot of charity work. Like, they're one of the, similar to the Minnesota Atheist Association, which is one that I'm a part of, community-wise, because I don't have a belief in a deity. I don't believe in a deity in general. Do I think there are unexplained things? Yes, I do. I'm not going to deny that. And I've had certain experiences, especially in his house, right? Because we're pretty sure there's a ghost.
No, I know I have ghosts.
Yeah, it's one time, like, one of them picked up your chair, I think, one time, and, like, one of them opened the door. Like, there's been some stuff where I've been like, okay, and then I remember one time my boss at work was like, yeah, I think there's a ghost, and she's a skeptic too, from what she told me. So I was like, okay, like, I'm glad I'm not the only one, but at the same time, though, I can't necessarily say, like, I can say it's a ghost, but I can't necessarily say, like, if it's, like, a full-on afterlife, though. But
I don't believe in a full-on afterlife. I mean, I've died clinically, and I saw nothing but blackness.
That's right, I forgot about that.
It's like, which is a strong, really, it's like, I don't know, it has a lot to do with why I'm not really atheist, but I am more agnostic, because I do believe in faith. I do believe in a higher power. I do believe that something created this universe. I do believe that something created this beautiful plant that is great medicine and healing. Like, there is a higher power out there, but whether the Catholics are right, which I fucking hope the Catholics aren't right. Because the Catholics are right.
The Catholic.
On the off chance the Catholics are right,
We both
I'm
grew
going
up Catholic.
I'm going to hell. There's no way around it.
Yeah, no, like, I know I'm going to hell because, well, the thing is, in Christian religion, and this is, like, across all levels of Christianity, not just, like, Catholics, if you deny the Holy Ghost, that's an irreversible sin. That's an irreversible sin. So in the Bible, if you say there is no Holy Ghost, you're down straight to hell. You cannot take that back. You can take any other sin back through redemption and prayer.
I actually haven't heard that one.
Yeah, no, it's in the Bible. And I grew up Catholic, but I remember, like, a bunch of atheists on YouTube were, like, doing that, basically saying, like, well, we don't believe in hell, so, and we don't believe in God, so we're going to hell anyway. I always thought that was an interesting take. But yeah, no, I grew up Catholic. The Catholic versions of hell is not fun. At all.
I mean, nothing about the Catholic religion is fun.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, not only that, like, a lot of what we get from hell isn't even the main text. Like, we have the Book of Angels, which was written by monks, which was supposed to go in depth of the various angels, which then told the story of Lucifer and everything and how hell was formed, essentially, through the war. And then we have Dante's Inferno, which technically is not, but anyway. But, enough about religion.
Yes.
Should we do the
Texas law enforcement?
Yep. So in Texas, let's get this open. All right, so Texas law enforcement will not test THC levels in misdemeanor or possession cases, which is really big, actually. As many of you guys know, or if you're new to pot can stay in your system for about a month. Typically, unless if you're like a habitual smoker like us, where you might have to wait a bit longer for it to get fully out of your system. But typically a month is what you want to wait, and before you test or how it goes through your system, because it connects to the fat cells.
Well, no, I mean you can speed up getting out of your system by, which a lot of stoners don't do this, but exercising and drinking lots of water.
I heard that too.
Will help speed it up and getting out your system.
That and drinking a lot of white tea helps too.
I definitely haven't heard that one, but
that's what I would do, because that would help.
It's like pickle juice and just staying hydrated.
Pickle juice. Like, I like pickles, but
and exercising, and it's like, and as a person who was on probation, had to take a lot of urine tests, I can definitely contest that. Pickle juice and 3 gallons of water and exercise will have you dropping a clean piss test.
Well, what I did is there's this one test drink that I usually got, and it's a bit expensive, but it works. It's called Platinum Pure Test.
Well, no, I bought niacin for a job interview before.
Yeah. And that's the one I used for when I tested for jobs, the Platinum Pure Test. And as long as and the thing is, it's true, like, and I can test to this, you follow the instructions to a T, you will have a clean test.
Yeah.
And the thing was, my last test that I had at I think it was for Costco, I think, I bought the wrong one. And it didn't work as well as I hoped it would. So the ongoing dilemma over lab testing has defined the rollout Texas new hemp law. So with this new hemp law, if you guys aren't familiar, we mentioned this before on a previous one, where since they can't tell the difference between hemp and weed, if you tell the police that it's hemp, they can't do anything, pretty much. They can't check it. They have to take you at face value, because they can't really guarantee that the test will be accurate. And
yeah, but the problem is cops are so ignorant and dumb.
That's true.
It's like you could have a pocket full of just Chris Nugs and be like, "This is hemp. This is hemp," and they couldn't do shit about it. And truthfully, you're gonna smoke that. That was your plan, to smoke that.
Pretty much.
You're gonna smoke those beautiful flowers. But instead, you gotta lie and be like they're hemp, or you gotta lose like a whole ounce, a half ounce.
Yeah, so that doesn't look like you're selling. That's the main part that sucks. But so yeah, this month brought another development with the state's department's public safety informing law enforcement that state labs will not conduct testing in misdemeanor marijuana cases. Lawmakers in Texas passed a bill last year permitting farmers in the state to cultivate hemp, and effectively removing it from the state's list of controlled substances that legalizes cannabidiol or CBD, as well as the products made from hemp. The measure was signed into law last June by Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Now, the thing is, a lot of people don't realize what the history of, like, marijuana in our country before it became illegal. Texas used to be one of the bigger states that would cultivate hemp for purposes because of how the climate was. Now, this is just hemp, like, not actual marijuana. This isn't the stuff that can get you high.
Well, yeah, hemp. This is the thing that pisses me off about our country and why hemp, specifically hemp, not even talking about marijuana or cannabis, but talking about hemp, it was outlawed because it was like the white people who were making money off of cotton and wood weren't making money off of hemp.
Yeah, and hemp is basically a renewable source. It's like a weed. It sprouts very quickly. It has a very quick harvest life. A lot of farmers like it for that reason. It's a quick turnover crop, essentially.
It makes really strong fibers.
Yep.
It's like so many things like historically were made. It's like
the first
next time you're in an art class, that canvas you're painting on, feel that and just feel how strong and tight it is.
Oh yeah, no, the very first copies of our Bill of Rights and
are made out of hemp paper.
Are made out of hemp paper. That's what they used because paper was just so valuable back then.
And hemp paper was just so strong.
Exactly. I mean, granted, it wasn't the best to write on at times because of how their ink was. It couldn't really, like, that's why when you see original versions, it's a bit faded. But, like, that's why why paper was so expensive, because when you had paper, that was like your permanent copy. That's what you put your permanent things on, you know, essentially.
All those fucking rich white slave owners, landowners, thieves.
Yeah.
Were making money off of wood and cotton and slavery. Yeah. And those are big reasons why cannabis has been outlawed so long in this country. Like,
no, I mean, a lot of our drug laws are based around racism. Well, I mean, that's just a plain fact.
That's just, fact of this country.
That's why cocaine is illegal, because they didn't want the black men to go crazy and rape all the white women.
Cocaine was fine when it was your white wife doing it.
Yeah, but...
cocaine was fine when it was your son doing it or your daughter doing it.
Yeah, but
as soon as the Negro started doing it, oh shit, we gotta do something about this cocaine problem.
Or we gotta do something about this problem or that problem.
It's never a problem until Mexicans and blacks do it.
I mean, yeah. And so, I mean, but again, like, this is, again, really important. Like, even though it seems like they're kind of begrudgingly, like, doing this a lot of the time, it's great that they're actually, like, realizing, like, this shit has to happen. It's not gonna make the system any better, you know?
Well, it's one of the big arguments that is going through Congress right now is that us telling our kids that marijuana is just as bad as all these other drugs isn't working because they're not listening, because
no, they're not.
They're seeing for themselves that, okay, this person over here is all strung out and looks like a zombie because he's doing opioids. This person OD'd because of something he got from his doctor. Yeah. Something that's prescription. And, like, kids aren't listening anymore to marijuana is just as bad as the other drugs, because it's not. Well, and especially when you've got states increasingly legalizing recreational, not just medicinal, but recreational. People are seeing that, okay, this is a valid medicine.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is.
Because it is.
When I lived in Oregon, the therapist that I worked with over there, along with my psychiatrist, we actually had basically a marijuana regimen for me to help regulate my moods for depression. And I was able to get weaned off of a lot of my chemical meds. And then now I'm on a very low dose, and then marijuana helps kind of supplement my symptoms a bit. Granted, though, as you guys know, I tend to like to party, so there are days where I will be over them when I should. But it definitely, like in Oregon, it definitely helped. Like, I wasn't feeling like, because when I take, for example, when you take attention medication, ADD medication, it like pretty much makes you not hungry a lot of the day. It's very much an appetite suppressant. When I had it with weed supplement, I was getting more of a healthy appetite back, in a sense. And not like eating at the end of the day, because I would then remember to eat, and then I would eat a lot, and then I would gain weight. Now I'm able to kind of like really just kind of like focus on my hunger in a way that's healthy, and just eating till I know I'm full and then not going anymore. Which has helped a lot with my weight loss recently, I think.
What? Oh, nothing.
But so then the department they said in a letter to law enforcement agencies that the legislature added resources to the laboratory to help expedite the analysis of those felony cases. However, additional funding to address misdemeanor cases was not provided because the laboratory does not analyze misdemeanor drug cases. Which, again, that's really big because a lot of people who are of color get put into jail, and we're not talking prison, we're talking like county jail because of misdemeanors.
Yeah.
And they get profiled and they get locked up because of a fucking misdemeanor. And for them to just basically say, if this is we don't test for marijuana, it basically takes out any reason for the good faith reason, as a lot of cops call it, where they like say, oh, I smelled marijuana, so I went in. Or I smelled marijuana on the car, so that's why I had them get them out of the car. And I checked their car. And it's, a lot of times it's for no reason. A lot of times these people aren't smoking weed.
A lot of times it's just racial profiling.
Exactly. So
I know I've been racial profiled in a car full of Asians. Like, we smell marijuana. Ain't no marijuana in the car. Not even a roach in the ashtray.
Yeah. So again, this is, even though like Texas is kind of begrudgingly doing this because they know they have to, it's nice to see. I'm gonna say it is nice to see, and since it is Texas, it's such a big state, it does influence a lot of our education and how our law enforcement is just in general. Like, I hope this trend continues.
I hope Texas secedes from the U.S. and we don't have to deal with these rednecks.
Hey, Austin's not bad.
Okay, name another city in Austin that's not shit.
Okay, I don't know, but I mean,
Houston is okay.
I haven't
Rest
been
in
to
peace,
Houston.
DJ Paul. Not DJ Paul, DJ Screw. Yeah. Rest in peace, DJ Screw. But most of Texas, other than the black parts, can go to hell.
And again, we're getting these articles from High Times. It's a great magazine that's been around since for like ever. I mean, like, wasn't it like the 70s when it came out or some shit like that?
70s, but this is their website.
And we highly recommend to we like to highlight their stuff because they actually do a lot of good investigative work around the pot and the cannabis leaf just in general. So the next article that we have here is Missouri State bans cannabis-infused candy to protect kids. A bill passed this week by members of the Missouri State Senate would ban candy products infused with marijuana from being sold for medical use. The legislation would ban candy, lollipops, cotton candy, and fruit and animal-shaped edibles that could appeal to children, according to the Associated Press, while requiring marijuana food products and packaging to be stamped with drugs dosage. The bill passed the state Senate 28-1 vote on Monday and now will head to the state House. The other states have passed similar measures banning marijuana edibles and candies as an effort to prevent the products from reaching children. Well, I mean, that is something to think about. Because, as we learned from, like, how when cigarettes were touted in our culture and stuff like that, and, like, they use certain things, like, we don't want to market to kids. However, I don't think they should ban candy outright. Just make have it so that they keep the packaging, or maybe,
Well, first of all, the issue isn't with the dispensaries.
Yeah.
The issue is with the adults, the parents who are not keeping this shit in a safe place.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest things I saw at CES this year, because it still happened.
Yeah.
But I watched some of the shit. Was there's a discreet little lockbox that you can put all your marijuana stuff in. It's like,
yeah,
it's a nice little box, and it just looks like a alarm clock, like a LED alarm clock.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it lights up and glows.
And it actually
tells the
works.
time.
Yeah.
And I thought that was super dope. Like,
oh yeah, no, there's a lot of
I would love
products.
to have that and just, hey, have all my weed IPS, but not IPS, and just no one would know.
Yeah, no, I know down in the valley has like containers you can get, like a shaving cream container, a pop can, and
there's
stuff
lots of shitty stash cans. Those have been around for years.
I know, but I'm just saying that
those aren't nothing new, my
It's cool to see. It's cool to see it though, like getting updated with tech, like having like a full alarm clock. It'd be cool if they made like an actual laptop with like a weed stash in the bottom.
Because I had a stash can back in middle school that a homie had gave me, and it was just like the Barbasol shaving cream.
Yeah.
Like, It's like those things have always existed and always been simplified, but they've always been look shitty.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as you get too close to them, you're like, oh, there's something in there.
Yeah.
And then you go in it.
Well, I mean, I have a locking thing, as you saw that one time.
Well, yeah, you have that locking pill bottle thing, which that's cool. That's cool. I just feel like you kind of just need a safe or something that other people can't open. It's like I need to get a safe or rekey my lockbox.
I have a safe that I got from Fleet Farm a while back, and that's mainly because of the fact, like, as you guys know, this handsome man here makes delicious edibles, and that's where I have to keep it, so then that way the kids don't try to think that it's actual brownies. You know, I make sure if my niece and nephew, if they ever happen to get into my room, that they don't, I hide it, and if they do find it, they can't get into it, essentially. But, so 66% of Missouri voters approved a constitutional amendment in 2018 to legalize medical marijuana, bringing the state in line with more than 30 others, that laws permitting the treatment for qualifying patients. Their resounding success at the ballot has been reflected by the subsequent demand. The Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services released figures earlier this month showing that it approved applications for more than 35,000 patients seeking medical cannabis prescription. Wow.
That's crazy.
35,000. That's like a part of that's like a small city.
Yeah, no, that is a city.
That is a full city, isn't it?
That's a full fucking city. That's ridiculous, but it's serious that people really want to be able to smoke weed without fucking losing their shit, losing their kids, losing their job, losing their housing.
Yeah.
People want to just be able to smoke weed and not ruin their fucking lives.
Well, not only that, like, I remember when my mom told me, and this may surprise you, my dear, my mom tried pot once in college.
I believe it. I feel like most of your parents or your mom's generation tried in college.
Well, my dad said he never did. He never did drugs. Although I do highly, question that sometimes, considering, how they really,
I mean, as a person who has met your dad, I do highly question that. I feel like he smokes weed at least once. At least once.
Well, the thing is, my dad had a lot of issues. My grandmother had schizophrenia. She was an alcoholic, and my grandfather was an alcoholic. So he had to deal with a lot of mental illness in his family.
And so he just stayed away from me because he was worried about what might happen.
Essentially. So I think with him, I tend to believe a little bit more. However, my mom, I swear, she at least did it one more time. Because
no.
Apparently
your mom tried to make your dad jealous about Bill Clinton.
When? When did she try to make my dad jealous about Bill Clinton? When was that?
You told me a story, like, Bill used to walk the young ladies home from...
No, that wasn't me. That's from the John Mulaney stand-up. What the hell?
I don't know.
No, my mom never meant...
Okay.
If anything, my dad,
Okay, I'm just...
My mom was jealous of my dad because he got to go to the correspondence dinner when we lived in Virginia for a year, and she got jealous of that. Why would you confuse me for John Mulaney?
I don't know.
Oh, you're. I don't even want to know why. But okay, my parents are awesome. I absolutely adore them at times. They can be annoying, but anyway. So there have been, so they have a little section in this article that called Myriad Mishaps for Marijuana in Missouri. There have been more than 800 appeals filed by individuals who were denied licenses to run medical marijuana businesses, with many of the concerns surrounding Wise Health Solutions, a company that was hired by Missouri to score the license applications. Wise Health operates as a joint venture with two entities, Veracious Investigative and Compliance Solutions, a Nevada-based consulting firm that works in the cannabis industry, and Oaksterdam University.
World famous.
An uncredited higher learning institution in California billed as America's first cannabis college. I actually have been wanting to take classes there. They actually have a great selection of classes of business with pot, as well as how to grow, how to properly clip, etc.
Yes. I've taken some of their online classes.
I've seen some of their online stuff, yeah. The school conducted seminars in Missouri last year and centered around the helping licensing applications and forging interesting relationships, raising questions about a potential conflicts of interest in the application process. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Missouri handles this. But I don't like the thing is I do agree, like we don't want kids to like I want like if I ever have a child, I want them to do drugs when they're more of an adult, when their brain is more developed, because doing drugs young can mess with the development.
I mean, yeah, that's how you might feel, but honestly, I'm not gonna tell my kids not to do anything, because if I tell them not to, that's gonna make them want to do it more.
Well, it's not like I don't. It's not like I want to tell them not
I'm gonna tell any kids I have the exact same thing Midget told me going into high school. I know you're going into high school. I know you're gonna be curious and you're gonna want to try drugs and drinking. Just remember, everything is better with moderation.
I mean, I'll probably say that. I mean, the thing is
that basically took the bullets out of the gun for me, because I pretty much was a straight edge kid for the most part. I was on probation, so I couldn't smoke. Like, I couldn't smoke, and yeah, I had my coke period, but that was middle school.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, most of my crazy drugs I did before high school really got underway.
If anything, I would say this. I'd be like, look, I'd rather you not do drugs till you're 18. I'd rather you...
And I would very much clarify marijuana is not a drug.
Well, I mean, I would basically be like, but when it comes to marijuana and alcohol, I can't necessarily stop you. But if you're ever in a dangerous situation where you can't drive home for the night, I don't want you to be afraid to call me. Like, I want you to let me know that you're about it, but I can't necessarily stop them. And I probably would do something similar where it's like, I can't stop you, but just, I trust your judgment.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, Midget, she didn't sugarcoat things. It's like, and there's so many things that it's like, you and I had conflict over this because you misunderstood what I meant when I said, if we have kids, I'm going to raise them like a black kid. You and me had a great misunderstanding.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And it's like, I didn't mean like Chris Rock or Bernie Mac's jokes where you got to punch your kid in the chest every day. No. I mean, teaching them responsibilities, teaching them self-reliance. It was like, I was a latchkey kid. So in the second grade, I'm coming home by myself and I can use the stove. I can cook for myself. I can do my own laundry I'm 6, 7 years old. I can do laundry. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about, is just teaching that self-reliance and that understanding that, yeah, the world is going to be hard and difficult, but you can handle this.
Yeah. But,
And drugs are not bad, and marijuana is not a drug. Don't believe the propaganda.
It's not.
Because I'm definitely going to get that book. It's Just a Plant, that children's book.
It really is. But next one that we have coming up now...
Tennessee lawmakers?
Yeah.
Tennessee lawmakers introduced medical cannabis bill.
Now this is pretty big. Tennessee has had a lot of issues.
Yeah, so let's read this. Lawmakers in Tennessee's House of Representatives have introduced a bill that would legalize the use of medical cannabis in the state. The measure, House Bill 637, would allow patients with one or more qualified medical conditions to use medical marijuana and establish a regulatory framework for the production and distribution of medical cannabis products. Wow. This bill will oh shit. Alright, let me take this from the top.
Okay.
The bill was introduced by Republican Representative Ron Travis and Representative Jason Hudgens.
A Democrat.
Oh yeah, Democrat. Okay, so this is a bipartisan shit.
That's really cool. Because the thing is, if you guys aren't familiar with Tennessee, like, they've had a lot of, like, gang issues within the last, like, 20 years.
Whatever. Tennessee is a racist state.
It is a racist state, but, like...
That racism makes things so much harder when people can't get jobs legitimately because of racism. And I've got people in Tennessee who are like, they won't hire me because of the color of my skin, and I'm like, it's the fucking 2000s. That shit don't make no goddamn sense. So, like, I know people who are college educated who can't get a job in fucking Tennessee. I know black people, brown people, yellow people who are like, fuck Tennessee because of the racism's off the fucking chain. Like, and I'm not speaking the whole of Tennessee, but for the most part, fuck you, Tennessee, and your racist asses.
No, they are very, very racist. Like, don't get me wrong, but the main reason why, like, this is great because A, it'll help alleviate some of, like all the shit that's going on to the people of color community there. And B, like, I mean, this is a very, from what I'm reading here, if you want to continue, babe, like, it seems like they're like, it's very, like, expansive.
Well, yeah, so the Tennessee Medical Cannabis Act, HB 637, which was known as the Tennessee Medical Cannabis Act, will allow patients with one or more of the following conditions. So we've got cancer, epilepsy, HIV, AIDS, glaucoma, Crohn's disease, muscular, what was that, scoliosis, yeah.
Opioid addiction, renal failure, severe nausea or chronic pain, any medical condition producing cachexia. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's spelled Cachexia.
I think that's close.
Cachexia? I can't pronounce it.
I don't know.
Sorry if you actually have that. I'm not trying to make light of it or anything.
No.
So
it's not your fault because you can't expect the average American to understand Latin.
Persistent, and the thing is, I was a Catholic kid, so like I should know Latin a bit better. Persistent muscle spasm or seizures, post-traumatic stress syndrome, chronic radiculopathy, severe psoriasis, post-laminectomy syndrome, psoriatic arthritis, complex pain syndrome, including trigonometrical neuralgia, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and Parkinson's disease. God, that was a mouthful.
Yeah.
End-of-life pain management or palliative care, which is super important, and I'm really glad they brought that up. Terminal conditions, and then the following conditions if the patient is younger than 18 years old: cerebral palsy, cystic fibrosis, oh my god! Okay, they must have a woman helping with the bill, because that's amazing. And then osteogenesis imperfecta and muscular dystrophy. If you're not familiar with what cystic fibrosis is, it's a condition that women can get, where we have fibroids in our cervix system. I had that. It is not fun. It is very painful. Luckily, though, in Oregon, I was able to get an IUD, which helped with that, and the weed did help with the pain during it, but oh my god, this is awesome that they made it available for people under 18. That's going to help so many girls. I'm just saying. I mean...
Nah, good for Tennessee for once.
Like, I'm really, really surprised, to be honest, that they put that in there, but that's great. So yeah, then patients would be required to obtain a medical marijuana identification card from the state in order to possess and use medicinal cannabis. Medical cannabis cards would be good for 2 years with an option for renewal after expiration. Oh, that's interesting. Normally they do a yearly thing, but that actually would make better sense, especially for people who are like in pain and stuff. They don't have to come back as much. The measure would also create a state medical cannabis commission that would be tasked with regulating cultivation, manufacture, and sale of medical marijuana products. A state medical cannabis fund would be created, to fund the administration of the program. That is huge.
No, that's dope.
They're basically that would be a way to heavily regulate the manufacture of it, which is basically what a lot of us have been wanting in the first place anyway, you know? Taxes would be assessed on the retail sale of medical marijuana products, with 45% revenue collected going to the medical cannabis fund to cover regulatory expenses. A quarter of the tax raised would go to the State Department of Agriculture to fund programs and grants from the agency. Another 20% of tax revenue would go to the Tennessee Department of Economic Community and Development for rural community development programs, with the final 10% funding opioid and methamphetamine drug enforcement options by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. This has to be probably one of the most progressive things I've ever heard. And this is coming out of from Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, I mean, marijuana is a cash crop, and I'm glad that people are starting to open their eyes up to other research and data, because, I mean, I'm going to put my cousin Terrace on blast right now. Because I'm kind of pissed at him still, but he was on meth and shit. But, I mean, he got clean, got back with the family and shit.
That must have been hard.
And he smokes weed, but he smokes like a zip a week. But he's clean and he's productive.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing good.
Damn, a zip a week though. That's gotta be hard.
When he's doing tattoos and art and shit, just like his daddy, when they're doing art, they're great motherfuckers. But when they're not doing art, you kind of can't stand them.
I see. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I just really want Minnesota to legalize it outright myself.
Yes, I mean, I already do this now, but I want to, like, be able to walk in Uptown while smoking a blunt and not have to be, like, hiding it under my hand and make sure it's not visible. Like, I want to just be able to smoke and walk down the street.
That's what I want to do,
I want to be able to just go fishing and sit on the dock and just fish and smoke a blunt.
What I want to do is, like, I want to walk in Uptown, because, like, I mean, I'm on my feet a lot at work, just in general, and, you know, I've been working retail for over 10 years now. I mean, I think I've worked consistently retail jobs since 2013. So I've been doing it for a while. And, you know, my feet, they hurt a fuck ton. You know, even though, like, luckily at my work, like, you know, I have to do computer work at times, so I do sit down and I am able to rest. Like, they don't, like, work me to death or anything. But, like, at times when we have, like, a lot of people, and it does get busy, and we're getting, like, more increased business now, which is really awesome to see. However, though, I'm, like, rushing around, and, you know, at the end of the day, my feet are very sore, and, you know, that sort of thing. But, I mean, it'd be nice to be able to just, like, after, I mean, of course, I don't want to smoke right in front of my work, but, like, you know, get a couple blocks away and then take out a joint and puff a bit while I walk, you know, and enjoy the weather outside, you know.
I don't know, because that building that Bondestic is in is like, I know that building quite well. But I remember we used to smoke back by the trash cans. Well, the thing is, like, we used to smoke there in between matches during Friday Night Magic.
A lot of people smoke in the alleyway. A lot of people do smoke weed in the alleyway. I'm not going to deny that. Like, at any given night, because there's a speakeasy called Volstead's that's behind there now, where those dumpsters are, you were saying?
Yeah. I've seen people going in and out of the speakeasy.
And so at times people will also, like, I'll smell, like, as we're, like, leaving sometimes, I'll smell like somebody, like, smoking a joint, you know, covertly with their group of the smokers out in the alleyway. And half the time I kind of want to be like, can I have a hit? But I know I can't do that. But I've always wanted to go to that speakeasy, though.
Invite only.
I know, it sucks.
I don't know. I thought it was a part of your job at first, but...
No, it's not.
It's not. It has nothing to do with your establishment.
I mean, that would be really cool if, like...
But then I was thinking it was part of Venus Unveiled, but it's not either.
No, it's
completely independent bar in that fucking basement.
Yep. So, well, the main thing is it's to kind of, like, it's basically like Marvel Bar. I don't know if you're familiar with that bar.
Mm-mm.
That's a basement bar, under Bachelor Farmer.
Yeah, all the bars in Uptown that I used to visit, I used to frequent, are either not there anymore or they moved. Like, I used to do the Cause, Like,
Okay.
because the cause is right across the street from Caffrey, so when I worked at Caffrey's,
Oh, okay.
we go to the cause.
Yeah, I remember that. I've
Cowboy Saloon, they moved.
Yeah, I think they moved to downtown, didn't they?
No, they're still in Uptown.
Where'd they move in Uptown?
They're right off of Hennepin.
Oh.
They're next to the vape shop, Infinite Vape, that I applied to.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. No, a lot of the bars that I've been to are still there. I've been to, the ones that I frequented the most, mainly because my friend lived by that area, was Rudolph's, which is now Cheers, but Cheers doesn't work anymore.
Cheers is closed as well.
That sucks! I was gonna go visit there because I heard it was a gay bar. And I was like, really cool.
Oh, you're gonna be one of those women.
Oh, stop. I'm pansexual.
Yes, pansexual or not, you're still a cisgender woman going to a gay bar.
It was an all-inclusive gay bar.
You're still invading gay spaces.
How the fuck am I invading gay spaces? I'm pansexual. I fuck women and I also happen to fuck men. You too, by the way, so don't even get started on that. If anything, you're invading gay spaces too.
I don't go to gay spaces. That's my problem.
I just hate it. I mean, I'm sorry. I hate it when people say, like, don't get me wrong. I don't like it when straight people, because I'm cis, when straight people are like, they'll go to a gay bar and then get really pissed off when, like, people, like, say, well, why are you here? You know, that's not the point, and I get that, but the thing is, I'm there, you know, and Cheers was an all-inclusive gay bar, same with 90s and stuff. Now, do I go to the saloon? No, I don't. I've been to the saloon a couple of times, but I know that's not the space for me. You know, but I go to Lush and I go to 90s.
I wouldn't be caught dead in Lush.
Oh, stop. Lush is fun. Have you ever been to Lush?
I have been to Lush, and Lush sucks, and I've been to the 90s.
Why do you say Lush sucks? Their food's actually really good.
I wasn't eating food when I was at Lush.
What were you doing at Lush?
I think it was the gay pub crawl a friend dragged me to.
Okay, then what made you not like it?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't really like pubs. I don't like crawling. I'm not really big on the bar scene. Like,
then I need to, like, take you there, because they have really good performances and stuff. Like, that's... I mean, the 90s, I usually only go there for Kinky Friday. That's the only...
I mean, the 90s kind of sucks, but it's still one of my dreams to DJ a gay night there.
I can see you doing that. But anyway, so the next article that we have is South Dakota's... I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay, South Dakota's Ogallala Sioux Tribe.
Okay.
To vote on legislation cannabis unreserved.
Sorry, I didn't want to, like, disrespect, like by fully butchering that, so...
Ogallala.
Ogallala.
So
it's not Oglala, it's Oglalala?
Whatever sounds best to you.
I don't want to say that, because, like, I don't...
Yes, so you ask your boyfriend, who is so minute native. I don't know. It's like, yes, my grandmother was Blackfoot, but
I mean,
those are Sioux words.
I will figure it out eventually. I mean, I can pronounce Benedisca now, so.
Oh yeah. So let's go about this Sioux tribe who wants to legalize weed. Again, everybody loves weed, and I wish Brian Griffin could be High Times Man of the Year again, because
yes,
a bag of weed, a bag of weed, everything's better with a bag of weed.
So a vote this week would bring legal, medicinal, and recreational marijuana to a South Dakota Indian reservation, to a move that tribal leaders would be an economic boon. Oglala Sioux tribe members will vote Tuesday on the measure. They will also vote whether to permit alcohol at the tribe's casino. Should the weed proposal pass, the Pine Ridge Reservation, located in western South Dakota, the tribe would be invoking its sovereignty. Marijuana remains illegal on a federal level, and South Dakota has not yet joined the other states in legalizing either medical or recreational marijuana. According to the Associated Press, successful passage of the proposal would make the Oglala Sioux, also known as Oglala Lakota, the only tribe to set up a cannabis market in a state where it's otherwise illegal. Voters in the state will, however, decide on 2 separate ballot measures this November to legalize medical and recreational pot. Julian Bear Runner, the president of the tribe, characterized the marijuana proposal as something that would jumpstart the local economy, according to the Associated Press. Pine Ridge is the poorest county in the United States. We need an internal, regenerative, self-sustaining solution, Chase Ironeyes, a spokesman for the president, told the Associated Press. Ricky Gray Grass, a tribal leader, told the Associated Press that it will draw visitors to the reservation. People will be coming from all directions to get their medicine, he said. I think it was going to win by a landslide, added Gray Grass. Other Native American communities considering cannabis. Last year, the Eastern Shoshone announced, and again, I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm butchering these names, it's not my intention. I'm just trying to read as it goes. Announced that it authorized a committee to study the economic impact and development of potentially bringing hemp and medical marijuana to its Wyoming reservation. And last spring, the Bay Mills Indian community became the first reservation in Michigan to legalize recreational marijuana, a move that came 6 months after voters in the state approved a measure legalizing recreational pot. The Associated Press noted that the South Dakota tribe has tried to go this route before. In 2015, the Flandreau Santee Sioux tribe tried to open a marijuana resort in a bid for tourism to the reservation, but wound up burning its crop when it appeared that the feds were planning a raid.
Oh, shit.
That's gotta
that sucks. That sucks.
Oh, God.
They thought the feds were raiding them, so they torched their crop.
That just, oh.
But you know what, though?
Do you think
some stoner shit that reminds me of weeds. It's like the house is like they opened up their dispensary finally.
Yeah.
And the house next door is getting raided.
And so they have to burn their shit, yeah.
They start flushing the weed like idiots. It's like, first of all, you're growing plants. You're not gonna just flush whole plants. It's just, it's just so
I don't know.
stupid.
I've always had like a thing to like. I've always wanted to do. Like once I got my own house, was have a greenhouse, and then make a basement under the greenhouse. So have regular plants in the regular greenhouse, and then have my little trove of plants under the greenhouse.
Okay, that's a great idea, but that's a lot of labor and work.
I know, but it definitely would pull off, and then having it with the regular greenhouse, you know, I can have other plants there that are easier to take care of, and then have the plants and hydroponics in the basement. But that was a pipe dream, very much a pipe dream, if we can afford it.
Well, I like hydroponic growing because it doesn't require the voltage of lighting. Yeah. But it does require the pumps and shit. But, I mean, there's lots of very simple, easy hydroponic setups I've seen. It's like, I got an uncle who's got shit growing in a fucking fishbowl. Yeah, no, I have my uncle who used to be a science teacher, and he, like, was like, look, I'm growing tomatoes by hydroponics. And it was, like, showing me this pretty simple setup of how they, like, change out the water and, you know, do this whole thing and make sure that the roots are... Yeah, and there's lots of hydroponic gardens around the Twin Cities. Oh, yeah. And lots of tutorials and demonstrations and how to set up. Yeah. Midge has been to a few classes. Because she wants to grow... She wants to do veggies hydroponically, which I'm totally cool with, but I want to do other things hydroponically. I want to crossbreed, like, I don't know. I want to crossbreed something with jalapeno peppers. That would be interesting. You want to experiment with the GMO part of it, I'm assuming. Yeah. I mean, making spicy weed. That would be interesting. Yeah. Like ghost pepper weed. Dude, that would be interesting. Like, would it, like, what, like, do you think it would, like,
like it would feel spicy, or like taste spicy, or would it
I hope it tastes spicy. Like,
maybe it would like make the high better. Who knows? It'd be interesting. I've always wanted to crossbreed, like if possible. I don't know if it's ever possible. Mango with marijuana, since mango has properties to help enhance THC.
That's a good idea. Have you finished Kipo?
Yes, I have finished Kipo. It's a good show.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a fun one.
If you're not familiar with Kipo, it's a show on Netflix. It's actually really good. It's a really good show.
Well, it's done by DreamWorks Animation.
Yes.
And DreamWorks Animation is Netflix's big partner.
Yes.
And they're bringing so many fantastic good shows, because didn't they do Voltron?
They did Voltron. Well, the thing was, Netflix, I think they either helped make sure that DreamWorks didn't get bought by Disney, because DreamWorks was part of Fox originally.
Was it?
That was the Fox Animation.
I know Blue Skies was Fox. I didn't...
It's DreamWorks Blue Sky.
No.
No.
DreamWorks and Blue Sky are two separate companies, hon.
No, I swear. Hold on, let me look it up real quick.
I'm 98% sure they're two separate companies. Because Blue Sky did the Ice Age movies. And Disney owns Blue Sky. And that's... they're releasing movies still under Blue Sky.
Oh, they had a movie distributed by 20th Century Fox, but it wasn't...
Yeah, and they're not owned by
them.
Distribution is wholly different.
They had a 5-year animation distribution deal, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay, so we cleared that up. But no, it's a really good show. It's basically like it's like after the apocalypse, essentially, and like it's many years, and humans are underground essentially, and animals have mutated and changed,
and they talk,
and like we're not really sure if it's like from like if there was like some big nuclear war and it's the radiation. Like we're not really sure why the world is what it is, but there are still humans roaming around. Like, don't get me wrong, but animals have an intelligence to it, even ones that don't talk. Like the pig. What's his face? I forgot her name. You know what I'm talking about, though.
The cute little pig that as she's chasing around. And then, then there's the one who's just like... There's the one scene, because there's a wolf girl. There's a girl who's raised by wolves.
Yeah, and like wolves are very intelligent in this time.
Yeah, like there's the astronomy wolves. Like they're all like hung up on astronomy and knowledge and being smart and educated.
Yes.
But yet they're still wolves, so they're gonna eat you.
Exactly. And, well, it's kind of like it was a really dark episode when like it talked about her past, and like they talked about her past. Are you playing that song? But when they talked about her past and stuff like that, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna like take you in and we'll train you and stuff like that. And so she's thinking like, oh, this is a family, I have a family now. And then what do those fuckers do?
They try to eat her.
They try to eat her, and they're like, well, now she has the same skills of you, so now you're gonna hunt her.
Yes.
And you're gonna try to survive. And she wears the fur of the wolf, of one of the wolves that she killed.
Yeah, she killed one of her brothers.
Yep. And
she wears this, like, whatever. It's crazy. There's so many subverted expectations, because there's this one kid who's so much inspired by Miles Morales, I feel.
Yes. Yes, he's so much inspired by Miles Morales. Absolutely adore that guy. And he's gay, and I love how they did it, too. When they revealed it.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Where she's like, she's like, oh no, sorry, I'm gay. Like, I just wanted to show you that it's not too bad. Like, and then I just liked that part where it's like, oh, you're thinking that he's being romantic with her. He's like, no, he just wants to, like, show her that, yeah, the surface has its issues, but it's not, it does have its moments of where it's safe.
Yes. It definitely is a good show. Did that come out end of 2019, or was that was the beginning of this year, wasn't it?
I think it was beginning of this year that it came out.
Yeah, I will definitely say it's, as far as non-traditional Japanese anime, Check it out because it's American animation, but it is purely anime.
It's very anime.
It is purely anime.
So fucking anime. It's not even.
And there's so many American anime. It's like from Totally Spies to actually that's not a good one because that's Canadian French.
That's Canadian French anime. But well, not totally.
Avatar. Avatar is another good American anime.
Oh well, like Gem and the Holograms. That would be considered American anime.
Ew.
Wouldn't you think that with the animation style?
No, God, no. The original 80s Gem and the Holograms? That was just Barbie hot garbage. That was just, hey, let's sell toys to impressionable young girls.
Oh, so about a businesswoman who has her own music label.
She wasn't. Jim was not the CEO of the label.
Yeah, she was. Did you even watch the show? It's one woman. Her name. I forgot her real name. She uses this holographic computer to disguise herself as Gem, but she herself is the president of a music label that her father had.
Well,
and that she inherited after he died.
I did not watch much Gem in the Holograms.
Are you kidding me?
Because I am not a prepubescent teenage girl.
I didn't watch it initially until I went to the video store as a kid and they had like all of the episodes. I liked it. I thought it was a good series.
I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of 80s cartoons. There's some like Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Well, I mean, I would consider a lot of the like, even though it's under like DC's label, I consider like Batman animated series almost like
90s. Those aren't 80s.
Well, I know those aren't 80s. Those are 90s, but I just almost would consider that almost like American anime because of just like.
Well, no, the Bruce Timm cartoons definitely do have a lot of Japanese anime influences, but those are pure American cartoons. There's just they don't ever feel like anime to me. Now there are moments in Batman Beyond that have like a definitely anime feel, but that's mostly because Batman Beyond has that Neo Gotham.
It's Neo. It's like Neo,
and it's just it's a homogenous mix of like Chinese and Japanese cultures and Italian culture, and then there's like Gothic, American art style. All this just shit blended together.
I love that show so much. Oh man. But yeah, no, Kipo is really good. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up.
Definitely.
I definitely say it is probably top of the list of must watch for 2020, and it's just the beginning of 2020.
Also, just as a way before we quickly wrap up, I'm really sorry that there's been a delay on the Betty Apollo podcast. It's just we've been trying to make sure that it's perfect for you guys. It will be up this week, and we'll be having the links posted on our Twitters and Instagrams and our Facebooks, just to let you guys know.
And one more time for the people, I'm Mizu Escobar on Instagram, Mizu Musashi on Twitter. You are...
I'm Aria Ray on Facebook, Aria Ray 28 on Instagram. On Twitter, my Twitter handle is called My Life Unrated, and highly recommend check it out. And also feel free to check out Betty Apollo's Twitter. Hers is at Apollo Betty on Twitter.
So yeah, that said, lots of links, lots of shows coming up. Please check our shows out, our podcasts, Patreon, our social medias.
If you're feeling generous, please consider donating to our Patreon. We do have a Patreon person, but we'd love more, mainly because of the fact we'd love to upgrade our equipment and be able to come out with better, high-quality content for you guys.
Yeah, I would definitely like to be able to do more top 10 videos that I can take the time and edit and not kill my computer putting together my top 10 white rappers video. But that said, like, comment, subscribe, share. Throw a pie in someone's face if you can. But peace.
Peace out, guys.